Welcome to number 3 in the series of instructional videos that I am doing related to wet shaving substance versus hype, or truth versus marketing. And this number 3 in the series is about shaving lather. Now you might ask, why do you want to talk about shaving lather? Most discussions in wet shaving videos has to do with the value of soaps versus creams and things like that. The reason why I want to focus in on shaving lather is that that is the functional element that you need. Doesn't matter whether it's a soap or whether it's a cream. The function is the soap. The soap is what does the work. How you get that soap, whether it's cream, whether it's a liquid, whether it's something else, hard soap, into a lather, that's the important thing. Now, I've talked about it before, and I'll just briefly touch on it again. But the purpose of lather, the shaving lather, is to hydrate the whisker, not the face. You get all kinds of shaving soaps, and it's particularly artisan soaps that talk about, the moisturizing capabilities. I don't care about the moisturizing capabilities of my soap unless they're talking about the ability of it to deal with the whisker. Yeah, the act of shaving dries out the face. Any kind of soap is going to dry out the face. And yeah, it might help a little bit to put some extra things in it. Mitchell's wool fat uses the lanolin that's extracted from sheep's wool to add some good softening and conditioning to the face. Yeah, good, fine and dandy. I want a soap that will create a good lather and get the results that I want, which is to hydrate the face. Not hydrate the whisker and not the face. The whole purpose of hydrating the whisker is so that it stands up. If it's not standing up, then when you cut it like this, it's going to make a sharp point. And what does that sharp point on that whisker do? It gets into your skin. It creates razor bumps, it creates irritation, it creates ingrown hairs. That's not what you want. Also, it just doesn't cut it off very cleanly. There's a lot left over. You got to go over it again and again and again. So, I want a soap that removes that outer layer. Pretty much all of them are going to do that. That allows water that is contained in the soap lather, the shaving lather, to then get into the whisker. Now, there's a lot of preference of people between bowl lathering and face lathering. Both techniques have been around for ages. Both of them. Face lathering is basically working the soap, getting it on your brush, and then doing it on your face. Been doing that for ages. Bowl lathering is just whipping up the lather in the bowl instead of whipping it on the face. I personally prefer to face lather because it allows more time of that soap working on my whiskers. It allows more time and more opportunity for the water that is in the lather to get to the whisker, break down that outer layer, and prepare that whisker to be shaved. Now, you can get a little bit more fluffier, richer, thick lather sometimes by bowl lathering. Particularly with creams. It's a little bit more difficult to put a cream on your face and then lather it. It takes a little bit more work, but that does fine too. Um, I think really the whole concept of bowl lathering is really the newest element. I think you work the soap on in a mug, and you continue to build that lather in the mug. Um, it's pretty much been the way it's been done for a longest time when you're dealing with soap. Um, so when it comes to the qualities that you want with your shaving lather, there's all kinds of things. Um, Probably the most prominent that people think about is slickness. Well, slickness is just the ability of the soap to create a little bit of film on the face so that it slides easier as the razor shaves off the whisker. That slickness, it's basically a chemical property of the soap. Um, and most soap is started off as tallow. Now we've got a lot of vegan types of soap that uses different oils to have that fat content. When it's mixed with a lye type mixture, then it creates a soap. Lye soap. That's the basis of how soaps have been made. We've just modernized it and made it a little bit fancier and more technical by extracting the different elements and then putting them together instead of tallow, lard, fat, and lye from ashes. You burn the ashes, it creates the lye. You put them together and you make soap. Slickness is one. Cushion is another. Now that's basically the thickness of the lather. Is it thick or is it thin? Doing straight shaving, you don't want a super thick lather because you can't see what you're doing very well. If you got a whole big old mound of fluffy lather, you want a more compact lather. Now, you want a lather that stays on your face. Now, a lot of people talk about, oh, it disappears. And a lot of people that have a hard time dealing with a soap like Williams Mug Soap. If they don't get that lather built well, then you put it on your face and it collapses. It goes away. Well, you have bigger bubbles. The bigger bubbles then pop. And if you got little bitty bubbles, as they pop, if you got a lot of little bitty bubbles, then it's going to stay on your face a little bit more. So you want a lather that will stay on your face long enough for you to do a pass. Cushioning, that's kind of at the bottom of my list. Slickness, I like a good slick soap. But I like a good dense, thick lather. Not something that's real big and fluffy, but sort of a medium range is what I prefer. Okay. I mentioned that there are some soaps out there that are slicker than others. In my opinion, what I have found trying dozens of different types of soap, and everybody that watches my videos know that I'm a fan of this soap, and it's Eva Nesterova's brands of soap. 4 to 5 ounce pucks of hard soap. It's got some nice scents, but it's one of the slickest soaps that I have. Now, I haven't tried all of her soaps. I work a puck and I don't like this one. I haven't started this one. Usually I melt her soaps gently in the microwave. It takes less than 10, 15, 20 seconds in 5-second bursts to kind of melt that. And some people, oh, well, the way she makes her soaps, the base that she uses for her soaps, you can't heat them up. And then, I heat them up, and like this is one where I've melted it and put it in a bowl, in a container. A lot of artisans soaps. Oh, get back on the slickness. My list. Even Nesterova's I rank as my number one slickness. The rose soap that replaces the Calar Cabinet is probably one of the most fantastic soaps I've ever tried. Mike's Natural Soap I would rank up there in second. Very nice slickness. Then a sleeper, one that most people don't think about, one that people dismiss. Kiss My Face shaving cream. Moisture Save, ultra smooth for the most sensitive skin. I'm going to be using this a little bit later to do a quick shave. People think, oh, it doesn't lather. It doesn't create a thick lather. Yeah, it can. And it's pretty cotton picking slick. The next would be Sterling soaps, in what I know as being a slick soap. And then the traditional Mitchell's Wool Fat would come up next, followed by Maca Root cream, and then followed by Gentleman's Groom Room soaps. So there you go. I've let the cat out of the bag. Those are my favorites that I feel like have the most slickness. Other people may disagree. But there's an element that I want you to think about. There's a lot of hype about various and sundry artisan soaps having this quality better than others because of the ingredients that they have in their soaps. From my experience, having, again, tried many artisan soaps, very, very few of them differ much from the others. Many of them have the same types of creation process as the others. The variations is the type of scents. So in the whole bell curve of shaving soaps, most of the artisans are right there smack dab in the middle. They don't vary out very much in being excellent or terrible. They're just in the middle. They're average. So when it comes down to what you like, it comes down to maybe scent. Do you like scents? Now let me talk about scents. Before, in the early ages of soaps, there wasn't too many scents going around. Soap smelled like soap. And now we've got all kinds of variations that we can create. And it's the essential oils that they put into it that creates that scent. Well, go into a store and look at all the wide variety of essential oils. The bottom line is that scent in that soap is only going to last while you got it on your face. You wash it off, the scent's gone. The matching of this soap scent with an aftershave or a cologne, it's not that important. It's not that important because that aftershave is going to overpower the scent, the very, very minute amount of scent that remains on your face after you wash that shaving cream, that shaving lather off. That's the hype. They want you to buy their product. They want to make claims that this is better because it has this element. Probably not. Soap is soap. Whether it's an artisan soap, whether it's a vegan soap, whether it's a tallow soap, for the most part, soap is soap and it's going to do the same cotton picking job as the next one. It all comes down to your personal preference. Um, there are some variations. One of the big things in artisan soaps is soft soaps instead of, like even Esterova's, that it's a hard soap. In my book, I prefer buying my soap as a hard soap. Now, why do you say that? Well, if I'm buying a hard soap, I'm buying soap. I'm not buying water. I'm not buying an extra chemical that makes it softer. A soft soap is going to be used up faster, and it's a less value to your dollar. Plain and simple. The soft soap, yeah, it makes it a little bit easier to load your brush. You can build that lather quicker. Why are we so worried about doing things fast? We need to slow down a little bit. Road rage because somebody's going 5 miles slower than the speed limit in front of you. It's craziness. Slowing down and getting there 2 or 3 minutes later than what you would otherwise if you were speeding doesn't make a hill of beans in the total quality of your life. So slow down. Don't be worried about doing things fast. I can make any hard soap into a crope, which is essentially a hard soap grated with water added to it to make it softer. Now, there are chemical processes that you can do to help that soap not dry out as much and make it soft. But it's soap. So I'd rather have a hard soap that if I want to make it soft, I can. Or if I want to make it last a little bit longer, keep it hard. Now, the only thing you have to do is you have to soak that hard soap with hot water or warm water for 5 minutes before you use it to soften up that upper layer so that your brush can get to it. Now, for you guys starting, I prefer boar hair brushes because many boar hair brushes can be just as soft after they get broken in because the fibers of the boar split at the end. And once you get that water and that lather on, they can be almost as soft as a badger brush. And a badger brush will not be as efficient in getting the soap loaded onto the brush than a boar brush. So when you're starting off, go with a boar brush. It'll be easier for you to learn the techniques of using the various things. And a boar brush can be used with creams. It can be used with soaps, hard soaps. What else? Heating up lather. Using things like I got a mug scuttle here that I'm soaking my brush in, or a brush scuttle. It's got an inner chamber, and then it's got the outer chamber where you put the mug. Potentially I could even whip up lather in here if I wanted to, but you put hot water in here, it heats it up, and you can get warm lather. Okay, when you heat up lather, it is going to break down faster. So a soap, a lather that makes a decent shaving cream, a shaving lather, you add heat to it. If you add too much heat to it, it's going to break down real fast. You're popping all those bubbles with the extra heat. It just makes that process faster. So you have to create a balance. Have it warm, not too warm. On a winter's day shaving, warm lather's fantastic. But just be warned. Your performance is going to go down when you heat up your lather. What else I need to talk about? Talk about slickness, cushioning, thickness. Okay, creams, soaps that come in creams versus the hard soaps or the crops. They just have extra moisture contained in them that you don't have to add later. So you don't have to add as much water to create a lather with a cream. Now, a basic principle of lathering that will work primarily with probably 95% of the soaps and creams out there is to start off with a very lightly moisturized brush. And I'll show you here. Okay, I'm gonna do this Kiss My Face. I'm gonna bowl lather it just to be able to show you. I just dunked it in, put some water. I got to Kiss My Face. I'm gonna do 3 squirts. I'll do 4. Okay. Not a whole lot. I've been soaking my brush. You always need to soak your natural fiber hair brushes. Shake it out so there's no water coming in. This is a new brush I got. It's a Pav brush. It's one that Scott started working on for me 9 months ago probably. This is a Martian Storm resin, and then I've got a TGN banded bore brush head. I think it's a 24 millimeter knot. Fantastic brush. Okay, you just take it and you start working it. You start off and you work it until it starts thickening up a little bit. There, see, it's thickened up a little bit. Then you add some water, just a little bit, a few drops. A few more. Kiss My Face is not going to create a very, very thick, rich, fluffy lather, but it will lather. Wet your face, put it on, and Kiss My Face doesn't bowl lather as well. It, gets started in the bowl, and then I'll add a little bit more water here. A little bit more water. There we go. It's not big, it's not fluffy, but it is a very adequate lather. I got a feather blade in my 1953 red tip that I'm shaving with. I think I've got, this is like 7 shaves on this feather blade. I haven't used a feather blade in a very, very long time, and I'm quite surprised at how better performance I'm getting out of it. than I did before. For you guys beginning, some of these, this is a super speed. This is a super speed heavy red tip. And it's a well-named razor. Super speeds are razors that, in their basic design, you can shave fast. There are some razors that you go this fast and you're going to get a lot of nicks. What I found with super speeds is that doesn't happen. Now when you put the water on and you rub around, it's slick. Another thing about lather. Most lather, the longer they sit, they're not going to be quite as thick on the second and third pass as far as density than they were the first pass. That's just the way the beast works. Now, if I didn't have a lather that was slick, I may not be able to shave as fast as I'm shaving now. So, that's good enough for today. Let me rinse off here. And there it is. I always put some witch hazel on right afterwards. Now, that's the end of the instructional video. For those of you who are my friends, and I consider a lot of you kind of extended family throughout the world, there's a personal piece. I want to make an appeal. Two things. Just had the anniversary on the 29th of March of my wife Rhonda passing. Her family has been pretty much devastated since she passed. Her brother died about 80 days ago, and her mother's not in real good shape. She's been in the hospital 3 times in the past 2 weeks. And my other brother-in-law, a lot has fallen on his shoulders as a result of his 2 siblings passing. So I ask that you send positive thoughts and prayers in that direction. Another. I can't go into details about it, but I will let you know that it involves someone who's very, very close to me, a very good friend who is in a very difficult situation in their life that is requiring some decisions, some life changes, and there's an element of danger involved in it too. So I ask that you send positive thoughts and prayers for protection, wisdom, and guidance in that regard. So, until next time, have some good shaves. Try and be happy, but definitely be safe. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.